So the England squad has been announced today, and let's be honest, it's a bag of crap. It's an absolute bag of crap. Players there that shouldn't be there, players that should be there, not there. Gareth Southgate, he knows these first couple of games are the biggest challenges within this group, and he's played it safe. It's the first time in really his leadership, if you like, where we've solely picked on past performances and picked key favourites. He's always been quite good, I think, Southgate, in bringing new players through, but this is just... It's a difficult squad to justify, and it shows, if anything, the lack of confidence he has in players on the fringe. So, without further delay, let's have a look at this squad, because there's a lot to talk about here. So let's get the squad up right away. Here it is, and I don't know really where to start, whether I go with the who's included or who's not, but let's go for who's included. So looking at the list here, we've got the goalkeepers pretty much pick themselves. Then at the centre, well, then at defence, you're looking already, you've got problems, haven't you? Ben Chilwell, fine. Eric Dyer, Mark Gahey, Reece James, Harry Maguire. I mean, Harry Maguire, he doesn't need to be playing first team football, essentially, does he? He doesn't need to be playing football, and Southgate will pick him. Obviously, in his defence, he had not a bad World Cup, Harry Maguire, and he is good for England. He's different gravy for England, really. But there's other players that we need to be looking at, and I'll come on to those in a minute, but it's hard to defend Harry Maguire's inclusion now. You've then got Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier, who again, you're pretty happy with that. It's a good, strong team there. Going into midfield, Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher. I mean, has this lad got compromising photos of Gareth Southgate or what? He was the surprise pick, wasn't he, at the World Cup? And he's just, how on earth has he got in this squad above some other players? Again, we'll come on to those that are missing in a minute, but there's no way for me Conor Gallagher can be anywhere near this squad. Jordan Henderson as well, you just think, has he done enough? I would argue not. James Maddison, I think he needs some minutes now. Don't pick him like you did at the World Cup and not give him minutes. Let him have a run out, see what he can do in an England shirt. Because when he plays for Leicester, I know Leicester are struggling at the minute, but he's by far their outstanding player. So it'd be good to see Maddison actually utilised if he's going to pick him within the squad. Declan Rice, he's struggled this season, same as West Ham. He's not been the best performing midfielder by any stretch of the imagination and nowhere near his peak form. But I don't begrudge Southgate including him. He's still a very young player, still a very good player. He's not, he's not playing terribly by any means. But so I'm not, I can understand why people may be a bit upset with Declan Rice being included. But personally, it doesn't bother me too much. But these other two, Mason Mount and Calvin Phillips, they're another Conor Gallagher. What are they doing to get in this England squad? Seriously. I mean, one of them, I think most people have even forgot he's a footballer now. It's been that long since he's kicked a ball in a club side. Calvin Phillips, that is. Mason Mount is just, where's he been all season? Where has he been all season for Chelsea? It's just a poor choice. And again, when we come on to the players that have missed out, you can't understand why he's chosen them. You'd expect some of these players to come back in because they're the players he trusts. But you would expect, maybe not all of these players, your Maguires, your Mounts, your Phillips, Gallagher's even, you wouldn't expect these players all of them to come back in. You'd expect him to at least try and experiment and bring some new players in. But he hasn't at all. And those two, along with Gallagher, in the middle of the park, it's just bizarre, really bizarre choices. Up front there, you can't complain. Foden's in good form. Grealish is as well. Harry Kane, Saka, Rashford and Tony all speak for themselves, all playing fantastic football, so no complaints in the final third of the pitch. But the midfield and the centre-back, he's bottled it, hasn't he? He's bottled it. He's had a chance to pick a new squad and he hasn't. He's just gone safe, which is fine. It works. It works if we don't get beat by Ukraine and Italy. It's the safe option. It's done him well so far. Playing safe, playing the sensible way, you might call it, has got us to finals, has got us through qualification groups comfortably. So Again, you've got to go in Southgate we trust, but a little bit, it's just a bit frustrating. You've got to be having players who play well for their club coming into the national side. And that brings me on nicely to the players that are missing here, because that's the biggest issue here with this squad, really. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Sterling, the two senior players, if you like, that are missing. Sterling apparently is injured. And Trent, he's just, let's be honest, he'd have probably pulled out anyway, with still club games to go ahead. It'd have pulled out, like he has done in numerous other squads, and he doesn't fit within the England setup. So, and he's not playing that well. So I have no complaints there. But then players who are on form who are missing out. So Connor Cody, for one, again with England's issues at centre-back. Should he be coming in? Should Southgate be having another look at him? I think so. Ben White. Now, I mentioned in a previous video, there was obviously issues with Steve Holland and at the World Cup where Ben White had a falling out, didn't he? And that's obviously affected his selection within this squad, because I can't see any other reason why he wouldn't be included. And if that is the case, you think fair enough. We're not privy to these conversations. We don't know what went off at the World Cup. But you can only, no one player is bigger than the squad. And if it is going to cause disruption, fair enough. But it's difficult to avoid based on form if he's not picked him on form. Ollie Watkins, you could argue, but you look at that front forward line, maybe you struggle to justify him being included, so fair enough. Lewis Dunk, though, Dan Burn, Tomori, three players, defenders, where we're crying out, absolutely crying out for defenders, new blood coming through, and I think he's missed a trick here, not including some of these players, particularly Tomori. It'd be nice to see him have another go, but all of those three, for me, deserved a call-up. Solly March as well. I mean, you can argue with him not being included that the strength in depth, again, at that area of the pitch is so vast and the other players are playing so well and they're established England players. You can, again, argue, possibly, you can understand why he's not being included. But why not? Why not give him a run out? Why not pick him? Get him involved in the squad, because he may be doing a job for us next year at the Euros. Callum Wilson as well. You could argue that Callum Wilson maybe is unlucky not to be involved, but I think Ivan Toney is the right choice as the second striker for Harry Kane. I really do. I'm really surprised Southgate's picked him, given obviously what's going off with his betting scandal. So fair play, Southgate. It's not a Southgate move I would have seen coming. I thought he would have just discarded Ivan Toney because of the baggage, but I do think he's the right person above Callum Wilson. But you can argue Callum Wilson is unlucky not to be involved. And then the biggest travesty of them all, really, considering who's in this position in the squad, is James Ward-Prowse. How the hell has James Ward-Prowse not got into this squad? And you've got Gallagher, Mount, and Phillips. There's no... You can't justify it at all. It's just favouritism. That's what it is. And that's the Southgate we've got at the minute. And that is the way he's picking his squads. He sees, obviously, Italy and Ukraine are the toughest games within this group considerably, so you can understand his apprehensions about the game and wanting to pick an established team. But James Ward-Prowse has got to be coming in. He wouldn't be new to the England setup. Yeah, he hasn't been picked as much as some of the others, but he's got to be coming in. I mean, what else can he do? He's absolutely fantastic this season. It's just, I cannot understand it. I cannot get my head around James Ward-Prowse not being included in this squad at all. So it's a really disappointing squad, really. Overall, I tweeted earlier in the day that I thought he was going to go, I thought he was going to pick some new players. I thought he was going to have a look. It's how wrong I was. Really aged terribly, that did. But I think everyone's of the same agreement with this. But let me know your thoughts below. I think it's a safe squad, and I think it will be a squad that does well, because these are players that do well in an England setup, but we're not picking on quality in terms of their club form, and we're not picking people based on merit, and that is always dangerous as a national manager. You've got to pick players based on merit, as well as your established players, but he's got all established, and he's disregarding players who are in phenomenal form, and that's not good enough for me as an England manager. There needs to be a credibility of a justified pick within these squad selections, and I think there's too many in this squad based solely on the past, and that's not good enough. So thank you very much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts on the squad below. Hopefully I'm going to see plenty of you out there in Italy. Come and say hello, grab a beer, look out for my stickers as well. That will be put around Bari and Naples and everywhere. I hope to see a lot of you out in Italy for the match, and of course back home for the Ukraine match. Finally, some England games to look forward to. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on my next video.